Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. What's been your impressions of Josh Allen so far, working with him and his professionalism?
I tell you what, he's a pro through and through. He spent time away and came back just here recently, and came back in the right frame of mind. He's obviously a tremendous leader on the defense and the team, and a guy that wants to learn and just study our defense and just get better. And that's what we need.
How much more important are these OTAs when you're in the first year as a head coach as opposed to, if you're in your fourth, fifth, sixth year? I mean, is the process just what are you looking to get out of it?
Yeah, I value the OTAs, and from the standpoint of really being able to evaluate, players this time of year, even though we're not making, roster moves and cutting it down to 53 and all that, but you still get a lot out of these as a coach, and now you get to really put your team into game situations and really start coaching that, here in the OTAs. And obviously we're going to, protect each other, but play fast and get our work done. And and what I look to get out of these next couple of weeks is just the execution from phase 2, that we did individually into against each other, now offense and defensively. How well the guys retain the information, from the classroom to the football field, and playing fast, protecting each other, and just see where we are as a football team.
As a follow-up, what do you see as your biggest challenge over the course of these OTAs?
I think just continuing to grow as a football team, coming together, as we build towards training camp. I think that's probably the number one thing, really is just building that cohesiveness. Again, the players and coaches are getting to know each other still, and I think that's a big part of these next, 3.5, 4 weeks, whatever we got left.
I know it's pretty early, but just the moves you made on defense with free agency and the draft, especially along the front seven, how can that help Josh Allen the most?
Well, anytime you surround, great players with good players, or great players with great players, it just elevates everybody's play. It's the same thing on offense when you can put good people around, your quarterback. It just elevates their play, and I think that we will see. We're not there yet, but we will see. With the additions that we did make, does that free up Josh? Do the other guys? And I'm speculating now into the regular season, but do other teams, have to look at us differently, and not necessarily, focus on Josh and where he is, but maybe on one or two other guys on defense. And, that just becomes a scheme issue for the opponents. But, for Josh just to come in and be surrounded with, good players, good leaders, is just going to elevate him as a leader on our team.
From a scheme standpoint, we've talked to a couple of the defensive guys through the last month. They look at that playbook, and it seems like they've got a little bit of a twinkle in their eye at times. Do you sense that they're excited about what you guys are planning to do, at least on defense?
Yeah, without divulging everything we're doing on defense and offense, but I know the guys are excited about it. It kind of cuts them loose a little bit to be freed up a little bit, and that's just as coaches, it gives us the flexibility to move people around, and this is the time of year, in OTAs to really, figure out what we have in all three phases. But I know the defensive guys are excited about, what Mike is bringing, and they just can't wait to use it in a game.
Is there a reality to being a little coy going into this year before they fully know what to expect? Mike, first-time defensive coordinator, probably know a little bit more about what to expect from your offense. They've got a little more tape on that. But is there a little something to that you look at as an advantage?
Yeah, first year, I think, with a new staff, there's always going to be the unknown, but look, once you get 3-4 games into the regular season, everything's out of the bag. So, but yeah, going into it, I think there's a little bit of the unknown, for people.
How do you measure your progress for Trevor in the next 3-4 weeks, and what should it look like for him mid-June?
for him, just again staying comfortable and getting more comfortable with the offense. I really like his dialogue with with Coach McCoy and Press and myself, and the things that he likes and doesn't like, and just want to see that growth in him here as we sort of wind down the off season and gear up for training camp. But he's been focused. He's been here. He's been attentive. He's done a good job on the football field. He's a leader, and those are the things that we want to continue now, as we head into training camp.
Since there's no live contact during this portion of the offseason, how do you evaluate the competition along the offensive line as well as the defensive line?
It's hard, because these guys are protecting each other, so it's full speed, but at the same time we're not, we don't have pads on, right? Just helmets, and it's hard. But you can kind of see how guys are retaining information, the subtle adjustments that the O-line and D-line are making in a live action against each other. You really can't fully dive into it probably till training camp when you can really hit and the pads come on. But this is good too from the standpoint of just executing our plays offensively and defensively, and I think getting some good evaluations that way, which is how well these guys are retaining information.
What do you want to see from the receivers?
Catch every pass.
Run every route right.
And run every route right. And no. Again, just being on the same page with Trevor, and Trevor being on the same page with them. And, we're limited, obviously, with the amount of hours that we can spend, on the football field in the off season. But these guys have done a really good job of coming in here and working. And they're studying, too, and they're preparing, and they're learning a new system just like Trevor is. So, but they're doing really well. And, it's just a matter of just continuing to work together.
Doug, how close to 100% did you get in terms of attendance?
Really close, really close. It's been a really good off season. Again, we understand it's voluntary and things come up and which they have, and that's fine. It's part of it, and it could be just a graduation, a wedding. Any of those things are life, experiences come up, and coaches and players need to be a part of that stuff.
And the last time we spoke, you talked about the healing process. Now that you got the majority of these guys here, how do you, what is the actuality of having that process other than building trust? Is there anything specific you do, team building or whatever, that maybe helps that?
No, nothing really specific, other than just lending an ear sometimes, to these guys, and working through some team settings and my communication with the team, and getting them to see me a little bit on who I am and how I'm going to lead this football team, and I think that's been it's been good for us here these first 6 weeks or so.
And then 91 guys, what's the challenge of being on the field, now repetitive days?
Yeah, it's tight in there right now when we're doing our individual stuff. You know what? It's been really good. The guys have worked really hard to keep the field in great shape, and adding the turf around the field has really helped as well, because we're not wearing spots out. But it's something that we knew going in that we were going to be in this situation, and we're handling it and doing it really well.
Have you been given an indication of when in the fall you guys will be able to practice back here and not be at Episcopal?
Not yet. We're still kind of working through that. I know training camp's going to be over there at Episcopal, and we'll have those fields set over there. They will still be available to us, but we just got to be mindful of staying off the game field as much as possible. And then the other thing too is, with the indoor being on turf so much, it's another thing we got to look at.
So there's a chance, like week 1, week 2, you guys might have to still be practicing.
There's a chance we do that, yes. Yeah.
Is there a chance week 1, week 2 that one field would be ready there? Here?
No, this will not be ready.
Okay.
It won't be ready at all.
Building off that, now having the Falcons game, having the date and the time, do you feel like you can kind of look at the preseason now and get a full schedule for that whole stretch of time?
Yeah, and it's interesting because you put, I spend the month of March and parts of April putting all the training camp stuff together and scheduling. You just don't know your games yet, right? And then we got the Hall of Fame game, so that kind of adds some time. But yeah, it's good to kind of get that behind us now and really focus the end of OTAs and obviously heading into camp and how the dates and games are going to fall, so you can plan, accordingly with that. And it's good too to, travel and play and practice against another team. Get us out of here and really get some good work in, for a couple of days before we play a game.
What led to the Falcons being the partner for joint practices?
A lot of times you call around and put feelers out, for teams, and a lot of guys try to stay pretty close to one another, proximity-wise, not a huge travel deal. And, Atlanta's been a team that has been good, and Coach Smith and I have a good relationship. And, we know that we're going to get some good work in, that 3 or 4 days we're there, and it just worked out that we can work against each other.
Doug, what's your running back situation look like as you practice day in, day out? Obviously, James not here or available, but how much are you going to work ETN, or how much can you?
Yeah, I mean, Travis has been, been cleared for everything. He's been doing really well through the whole offseason program, and we're still going to monitor, and make sure that he's 100%. We don't want to have any setbacks at this stage, but he's been doing really good, and obviously getting Snoop, caught up to speed, and Rock and the guys, and it's just a matter of, this is the time to let these guys play a little bit, to see exactly what you have going into camp.
How do you be able to graduate, like make progress with the rookies like Trayvon and guys like that with the full collection?
Well, guys like Trayvon and Devin and Luke and Chad, these guys are going to be working in with the ones and some of the twos, and and we got so many guys. But again, this is the time for everybody to get reps, get meaningful reps, and it's just a great opportunity for them to work in, and it's something that as a rookie too, they've only been here about a week now, and how well they can take the information to the football field as we go, and how much they can understand and comprehend.
Speaking of Trayvon, we talked to you before rookie minicamp. What was it like seeing him out there on the field? How have your interactions with him in the building been? How are you feeling?
Yeah, he's been doing really well. He's been in here all last week and really embracing the role. Obviously, been working at the one position and doing extremely well. He's such a pro. He's so hard on himself. He doesn't want to make a mistake, and you just got to tell him, like, hey, just calm down, relax. Everything's going to be okay. We got plenty of time before we play a game. But you like players like that who are critical of themselves and their performance, because they want to do well, and he's been one of those guys.
With Travis not playing last year at all, do you go back to college film at all, ETN, or do you just kind of see what you can do out here?
Yeah, you go back to a little college tape, but Bernie Parmalee has history with him. What he did in camp last year in the off season, so we can rely a little bit on that and how he was used previously, and then how we're using him here in these first 6 weeks.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.